Welcome, everyone, to the Meaningful Hearts podcast, where we discuss the everyday questions that make us or break us if we let them. With your hosts, Drew and Daniella. Take our hands and let's walk this journey together.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Meaningful Hearts podcast. Today it's just me. Drew has been out of commission. He's been sick, and truthfully, I'm not feeling the greatest either, but I think mine is not as powerful as his is. So here I am. And today I want to talk about what does it mean to be the bigger person? And how I am currently trying to figure out how to answer this question for myself. Now, this does involve some context, so I appreciate your patience with me. I might have shared on the show before that I play soccer. And what I'm trying to figure out how to navigate is I've been playing on this team for 2 seasons now. And the first season that I played with them, we were short players a lot, and I was there. I'm the type of person that's committed. I go all in, especially when it's something that I really value and love doing. So we struggled last season. And I guess part of my issue is that because I value commitment, I thought that I had earned a spot on the team. And this season hasn't been like that. Granted, I do take accountability and I do take responsibility for my mistakes and the things that I've done. Everybody makes mistakes on the field. And I know that I would make mistakes while I was playing. But I would also, in my opinion, I would do a lot of things that were good too. But I guess it doesn't always work out in our favor, even though we give 100%, or at least close to 100%. This season, now what's happened is, because last season I think we made it to the semifinals and lost. I might have even been the reason for the loss. Like, they might have scored because of me. And so this season they got a lot of players, and that's fine. I said to the people who run the team that I don't really mind being subbed out. I'm a team player and I'm adaptable, and I don't mind being a sub. I really don't, or at least I guess I tell myself that I don't. But what I do mind is when I feel like the subs are not fair. And that has very much been the case this season. I think I was a sub maybe every single game. And it got to a point where I was upset about it. And granted, there were times where I didn't necessarily handle it the best. I made a comment to them of like, this isn't cool. But I might have said it not the way I'm saying it now. And so this was kind of on and off. I started to not enjoy going there. I would go there and I'd be questioning, are they going to put me in? And if they put me in, how long is it going to be before they take me out? And if they don't put me in to start, how long is it going to be before they do put me in? How much playing time am I going to get? And I guess something else that plays into it is that I was playing a position that I didn't necessarily feel comfortable with. But I'm also, as a player, trying to figure out what position I'm actually comfortable in. So I didn't mind. Like I said, I like to believe that I'm pretty adaptable. But I started to feel like I wasn't enjoying it. I wasn't looking forward to it. And there were times where I didn't respond well, but there were also times where I reached out to the owners of the team and I said, hey, listen, like, I just want to let you know, I apologize for the way that I handled things, but I just want to explain where this is coming from. I don't mind being adaptable, but I do mind when the subs are not fair. And time again, I was told that I just can't take things personal. Even when I spoke to some of my teammates who are my friends, one of them in particular was like, you just can't take things personal. Don't let them get in your head. Like, you're very negative when it comes to the way that you're feeling on the field. Which, if you know me, I'm really not a negative person. I'm not an anxious person. But I am more likely to get sad. And I feel my sadness very strong. And it's also hard for me to not take things personal sometimes because I care a lot and I put a lot into what I'm doing and the relationships that I'm trying to build. But I was trying. I took the feedback and I really was trying to not take things personal. But I guess what it comes down to is, at what point is it okay to take things personal or not? And the last game that I went to was a semifinal game. And I ended up really upset because we got to the game was starting and I didn't start, and that's not why I got upset. I kind of was expecting that already. But there were only three subs, and myself included. And one particular sub was a girl that had only gone 2 games, maybe 2 or 3 games, the entire season. And they put this player in before they put me in. And I was upset. I was bothered. So it's 2 people that run the team. During the game, I was standing next to the woman who runs the team. And I couldn't help myself. And I said to her, how do you expect me to not get upset when you're putting somebody in that's only came for 2 games? Like, how am I not supposed to take that personal? And she stayed quiet. I went in like maybe 10 minutes later, and I think I played a total of like 15, 20 minutes when it's a 40-minute game. So I guess that's fair. And this is where I take accountability, because I know the way that I responded was purely based on emotion after the game. We won the game, which is great. But I was so in my head, I was so in my feelings that I couldn't help myself and say something to the other person that runs the team, which is a guy. And I said something not so nice. I might have even cursed a little bit. I think I said, like, why would you put in somebody that only came to 2 games? Like, that's so not cool. And when the woman heard, they were standing next to each other at that point. And when the woman heard this, she was like, you know what? If it's such a problem for you, just don't come back. Yeah, I feel like every game you're getting upset. It's the same thing with you every game. And she had already actually said that to me once before during the season, when I had also not responded well. So I just said, all right, no worries. And I was like thinking about it. And, I had told myself prior to this game that I was going to stick it out for the rest of the season with them and then just not go back. Because as adaptable and as flexible as I try to be, I've kind of learned that my time is valuable, and also I am valuable. And I don't want to keep going back to a place that I feel is ultimately detrimental to my health, my emotional and mental health. It kind of started to feel like I just kept going back to an abusive relationship, truthfully, where I would just bow my head and kind of stick around and just hope that they would see that I am there, that I am worthy. And so I had decided to finish out the season and then not go back. But after this game and the way that she responded to me, I told myself, you know what? Fine, I'm not going to go back. So the semifinal is a home and away game. So I didn't go to the away game. And a few days later, the guy, leader of the team, I guess, they're not coaches. They just like run the team. They pay for the inscription and set everything up. He sends me a message and he says something along the lines of, hey, like, I hope you're doing okay. I thought that I was going to see you the other day, and I just thought to reach out and say that I understand, things happen, but you can't just take things so personal. You're a part of the team. You always have been, and I would love to see you there for our final next week. And again, you just don't take things so personal, and I hope to see you there. And I haven't responded to the message. And this is what has kind of led me to explore the question of what does it mean to be a bigger person? Because ultimately, I am so conflicted about what to do in this situation. There's a part of me that is like, F that. If you really had wanted me there, you would have messaged me before the game just to clarify and like make sure that we were okay. And there's this other part of me that's like, that also plays into that part. That's like, why? Why should I bother? I'm a little spiteful and I'm a little prideful, and I take accountability of that. But I think that's okay, because again, I've realized that my time is valuable. Who I am is valuable. And I matter. And then there's this other part of me that's like, excuse me. There's this other part of me that's like, well, you can go. And then once the season is actually over, then you cannot go back. And that's the part of me that focuses on, would me going be me being the bigger person? And I was actually talking to one of my colleagues about this. I was kind of like ranting. I mixed ranting and venting and said was going to say renting, but no, I was ranting to her to get her opinion. And one of the things that she said to me is, well, what would that change for you if you do go? And then that's when I said to her, well, it would mean that I'm the bigger person. But at the same time, in being the bigger person, I would also feel like I'm putting my head down a little bit and just going back to something that wasn't hurting me. And that's when she asked me, well, what does it mean for you to be the bigger person? And this is the question I'm struggling to answer right now. I don't know. I take a lot of pride in being somebody who can handle situations well, who thinks things through, who is well thought out. If I need to have a conversation with you, I'm not just going to go and say and spew things out. I will sit down, I will draft things up, I will really think about what I want to say and how that's going to affect you and how I'm going to respond to your potential reaction. But in this case, I don't really know. I don't know what it means to be the bigger person. Because there are times when being a bigger person means that you have to bow down a little bit. But at what point do we do that? And so if any of you out there have ever experienced, maybe not this specific thing, but if any of you have ever experienced a situation where you're conflicted about what to do, how to move forward, and ultimately the kind of person that you want to be, I guess this is a question to ponder on and explore. What does it mean to be a bigger person? What does that look like? And on my journey of figuring it out, I guess I just want to normalize the fact that it's okay to not have it figured out. And regardless of what I decide to do, it'll be all right. Eventually. Maybe I'll let you guys know how it goes in the future. But instead of continuing to rant, that's where I will leave it. I hope that this has provided some insight or maybe not some insight, but has posed a question that might help you all ultimately build a more meaningful life, because that's what I'm trying to do for myself. Thank you all so much for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one.